Welcome to the first episode of Cautiously Optimistic. I'm joined by Socko, Tig, and Griff for today's first episode of a live stream we're going to do every single Monday at 8 p.m. I'm excited, guys. How are you feeling?
Good.
Magic, yeah.
Good.
I'm feeling cautiously optimistic about this podcast.
Same.
I think, to be honest, like we've a lot of new players, new manager. We just need to be given time.
I think we're given time, yeah.
Four of us just need to be given time.
Yeah, hopefully this start culture change at YTV. I think there's something great happening here. Like, yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, as I said, every Monday at 8 o'clock. If we're going to try to get you guys, the fans, involved in the show as well, moving forward, as well as maybe players, managers, personalities, and stuff like that across the League of Ireland. So yeah, we're excited to get started with this. And yeah, I think obviously the fixtures came out there at 5 o'clock, lads. So probably the first thing we'll talk about is that. It's always exciting. I was surprised not to see the Dublin Derby. It's usually the one you look out for first day of the season with a nice opening to it. But I think there's a few decent games. Finn Harps playing Bows. Shamrock Rovers are playing St. Pat's, which would be a good game. A slight Dublin Derby maybe on the opening day. That's a Tala as well. Sligo Rovers play host to Dundalk on the opening day, which could be a decent game. Do you remember we went to that game up in Sligo?
Yeah. The Sligo's actually a good place to go.
It's good spot for an away day, isn't it? Actually, Sligo.
Yeah. I was thinking it's good about them if they play on Saturday nights as well, so it's usually handy enough. Like it's actually just kind of easier. You don't have to take a day off college or work or anything like so.
Yeah. So then a newly promoted Longford Town play host to Derry City. Be interested to see how they go on. It's going to be a tough year for them, you think?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, that is one game that might look to start off early with. Like it's better than starting with a Dundalk away or a Rovers away or something like that, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about trying to get something from your home games, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're the type of games you might be looking at. And then newly promoted Drogheda as well. A couple of really good signings for them, the likes of Dinny Corcoran at Drogheda now. They're playing a host to Waterford, who are in a bit of a state. A lot of their players have left. So yeah, I think that's all the opening games, I believe. So yeah, it's a decent opening round of fixtures, but the games you do look for straight away when you look at the fixture list is the Dublin Derby and other kind of big games like that, isn't it? It's probably the first game you look out for. The first one is at Tala, Shamrock Rovers Bows on the 23rd of April. So that's what to look forward to, definitely.
Yeah, that'll be a good game.
It's just unfortunate. It's kind of like looks well. There's pretty much no doubt there's going to be no fans at it and stuff like that. Can't wait to see the amount of stick that Danny Mandrew starts getting. Hopefully the next one, like it'll be in at Bows, so hopefully it'll be
Danny
Mandrew was hoping for the game at Dalymount to be earlier in the season, like the earliest.
Yeah, because no fans
the FAI did say that like it'll be at least June until some fans might get back in the stadium, depending on how things go. So I think the second Dublin Derby is June 21st. And then there's one in August, one in November. So hopefully, like at least the last two, there might be some fans there to really say nice things to Danny Mandrew.
Yeah, for sure. Dundalk is one they think they need to get off to a good start. You feel this season, disappointing league campaign last year. So you feel like they need to get off to a good start. They have Sligo Rovers and Finn Harps as their opening two games, but then after that, it's back-to-back Shamrock Rovers and Bows. So it's a big test for Giovanni's side early on.
Yeah, I saw that they have Rovers and then Bows next week or something like that. So it's going to be tough. I mean, looking at the opening round of fixtures, there's not many there you could actually call really. Like, I mean, you'd like to imagine Rovers are going to win that one. They certainly hope to anyway. Like, definitely again, they hope to put 3 points up. But other than that, like most of those games could go either way. Especially the opening day is always hard to predict. But either way, like
one of the weird things actually just looking at the fixtures list, and it strikes me the first time I looked at it is not seeing Cork, like because you take that like as almost a staple the last few years, and then just looking at the fixture list, and I remember like initially I was like, because just in my head I was like, oh, hopefully get down away day in Cork some stage. Just not in the league, like I mean, it's mental, really. Like
the thing about the first division is going to be interesting though. Shells down there as well, Cork, a lot of big clubs down there.
Played a few times as well, Shells. So
I think the first division fixture list comes out next week. I think so. That'll be one to keep an eye out for. Cork Shells, you'd imagine, both be challenging at the top of the table. But
for sure.
in terms of some away days, lads, what would you be looking at there? Kind of Drogheda, Longford, do they present much in terms of away day opportunities?
Drogheda,
yeah. I mean, I remember going to one of the first games. I remember going to probably, I think it was 2008 or something. I remember going to Drogheda versus Kiev in Drogheda, and it was in Dalymount, I think. But I remember that game. It was like 2-1. They just put up a good fight again.
Yeah,
it was Champions League qualifier. Like,
yeah, you feel like Drogheda
very sad how they've come. Like,
yeah. You feel like Drogheda belong in the Premier Division a bit, don't you? Like, you feel like
I think so. Yeah, it's one of
side,
the the Premier Division. It's just they had a lot of money trouble and stuff, didn't they? Now?
That's why I'd like to see the league go back towards maybe like a 12-team league to get like Seychelles back in there as well, because I feel like there's definitely like it's so like even look at the fixture list again, it's like they're all playing each other 4 times again. Like it's a bit
exactly.
Like
there's a little bit of that. Like hopefully that might be not too far in the distant future. Like with those two, was it Treaty United and the other new side coming in applying for Irish CFC, applying for first division, applying to play in the first division like this year or next year. So hopefully it mightn't be in the too distant future. Like they might add 2 new teams to the first division and have a 12-team Premier Division. So something to look at.
That was one of the first things that one of the first things that like kind of shocked me when I was looking at the fixture list. You just forget it's so many games. Like I know it's 36, but it's the same teams you're playing over and over again. I just think it's a bit, I don't know, kind of ambitious with no real timeline of like when the fans are going to be back and stuff. I just think 36 games seems like a lot. Like it's putting a lot of stress on the clubs that don't like. They obviously rely on having fans in there and making money from that. So I just think it's a bit, maybe a little bit much. Maybe they could have gone for like a 3 games or something like that at each. But I don't know.
Socko, I know you were looking a bit at the uncertainty with kind of neutral venues and stuff like that as well, weren't you?
Yeah, well, all the financial stuff kind of came out in the last few days. Like the Examiner said that all Premier Division clubs are going to get 215 grand this year to kind of help keep them going. First Division clubs getting 50 grand. And the prize money for the LOI has increased to 600 grand, up from 423 grand last year. It's about 6 million overall this year expected, with the FAI underwriting about half of that initially. The ballpark figure was between 6 and 9 million euro to get from the government or like the FAI to kind of keep them going for this season. So the 6 million announced is kind of at the low end of that. So and a lot of clubs were contacted by newspapers and they said we haven't got like an exact figure as to the funds we're going to get. So like for the last few weeks, like a lot of them have been planning left in the dark a lot, like with player wages, investments. They don't know how much money they're going to get in the next few weeks, next few months. So it's really difficult to plan. As I said, partial fans not expected until June. See, there's a little bit of uncertainty, but like positive. There was mixed views about like the funds this week. Like some people said it was decent, some people said it was not enough. People hoping for 7, 8, 9 million quid. So we'll just have to wait and see. A lot of players still on the like government COVID wage scheme. A lot of clubs like encourage their players to turn pro, so they could avail of that scheme. So we'll just have to wait and see.
They're really banking on that March start, aren't they? You feel?
I think so.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like the situation in the world and stuff with COVID and everything like that. It could literally go up in the air. Like if we go into another lockdown again, like if things just don't go right, like like what I don't know what the kind of guidelines are for them. Like, do they get tested as often? Stuff, things like that. Like it costs a lot of money to do. And stuff.
Funding there.
Traveling all over the country as well. Like
it's like they're spending money and then they're not really making as much because there's no fans and stuff. But, like,
there was 7 million. 7 million euro, 7 million quid expected loss this year, like across the Premier Division. The papers were saying there's a lot of testing and stuff kind of last year, but they did play half a season. Bearing that in mind, so hopefully there is, because I suppose player welfare has to be like the most important thing, and especially with a game almost. I think the first break is the end of May, so you're playing a game almost every weekend up until March until the end of May. So it's a lot.
Yeah, for sure. In terms of it'd be weird to see like neutral venues being brought in as well, wouldn't it? Like it says in case of local lockdowns. So obviously, if there's a situation in Dublin or whatever, they want to play outside of Dublin or something. I don't know. It's strange, isn't it? Would the players have to go and stay outside of Dublin then and stuff as well? Like it's real weird. Like I don't know.
Does that mean if Finn Harps were meant to play Bows, like Finn Harps would just get 3 points, like 3-0 win automatically?
Could you like? It's
that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I said it's kind of ambitious. Like hoping that it's just going to all go ahead. Like it's not going to be a normal season anyway. But like you could, like there's definitely going to be trouble with it. Like I mean, there's going to be COVID cases and teams are going to have to cancel games and push them back and stuff. With that many games, a game every week and stuff, it's going to be tough. Like that's forgetting the cup and all that.
Hopefully, hopefully just by the end, like with the vaccine coming in and stuff, and they said they want to get a certain amount of people vaccinated by the summer. Hopefully by the summer, if they've even like able to get like 25-50% capacity of venues, that will turn not me taking like it will help clubs a lot, I feel. So just I don't know. I think for a lot of clubs right now it's about like sticking it out really and just surviving. As tough as it is. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting now. I do think they're banking a lot on the March start, but going to see really, aren't we?
Yeah, I was half expecting to nearly even announce like a 27 game season or something like play each other.
Yeah, that's what I was saying 3 times. Yeah,
I was thinking. I was half expecting
that. In Scotland, no? Or
I think Scotland. I think they do that, isn't it? I think because they have 12.
They used to do it.
Used to do it here when there's 12. Yeah, they only changed it the last couple of years. I think. Yeah.
We'll
move on anyway to talking about a couple of the Irish transfers in January. There has been a lot of Irish national team players that have moved on. A lot of them on loan in the January transfer window, and there's still some bits and pieces still to be wrapped up. I think in terms of Shane Long might be going somewhere. I think Shane Long might be going to Bournemouth as part of a deal with Josh King going the other way. Shane Long hasn't really been getting in at Southampton this season, so a move down to Bournemouth, who are challenging for promotion in the Championship, would be a good move for his Ireland career, really, as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think like he's still got the quality there, but the lack of game time is it's not good for anyone. Do you know what I mean? So I think a move is probably best for him. It's kind of a sign of the times with the Irish squad and stuff. Like a lot of players aren't getting game time in their leagues, and they have to step down a league and stuff to try and get game time. So it's kind of sad to see, but at the same time, you'd rather see them play a lot of games than sit on the bench in the Premier League team. Do you know what I mean?
He's getting on a bit as well. He's like 34, I think, now or something, isn't he?
Yeah, he's old enough anyway. Yeah.
So you think his international career is probably nearly...
You think so? With the amount of young players coming up as well, you think that surely like it would make more sense seeing as a player not really getting his game in Premier League, or even if he's gone into the Championship, if he gets his game, scores a few goals there, and then maybe do a job. But like we've got enough young players coming up now who potentially play that it would make more sense to surely get them in, blood them into the squad, you know?
Yeah, I think it's just a case of the fact that obviously we just don't really have a goal scorer at the moment. So that's the only reason that like he's still in kind of contention, really, isn't it? I think. Like if Didsey was there still, I don't think we'd be too worried about Shane Long maybe. And if Adam Ida had a great season at Norwich or something like that, we would have been kind of
to
say, but I don't know.
This is the thing as well. Like a lot of our like young players aren't getting game time either. Like, and they've had to make moves and stuff like that. Like, so obviously, like talk about Troy Parrott and like Obafemi tried to get a move, but that fell through and everything, and a lot of injury troubles and stuff. So it is worrying times on top. For us,
definitely. Another kind of established player that's moved down the leagues is Conor Hourihane. He moved from Aston Villa to Swansea in the Championship, who are also kind of trying for promotion as well. I think he's kind of one of those players that's on like the verge of the Premier League, but not quite maybe there. But like he's very good for the Championship as well. Like,
did he score? He scored 2 in his first 2. I'm pretty sure.
Good. Yeah, I think he did. He's a good player. He is a really good player. Like,
yeah, I just think with Aston Villa squad at the moment, like they're getting in Ross Barkley. He's obviously quality, like still is quality, and I think like in the Aston Villa squad they have enough players that it would make him unlikely that he's going to get a starting spot at the moment. Like, and especially even when he's played for Ireland, even when he's played for us, like he hasn't done enough to like force himself into like Dean Smith's plans. You know what I mean? He's been pretty average. So, I mean, I do think it's the right move. In fact, he scored 2 and 2. He's pretty positive. So. Good luck to him, honestly.
Yeah, it's players like that. Like, if they can get a bit of form going and a bit of regular football, like they could be class for Ireland. Like I can remember one time I've really enjoyed watching Conor Hourihane since he scored the free kick against I think it was Georgia.
You remember from him?
It's the last thing. Like all the the games, the back end of mix time a year or two ago, and like all the games under Kenny. I can't remember one time I watched like Conor Harahan in midfield and said, "Oh, that's class!" Like, so like there's a few players there like
common theme in the Ireland squad. Like honestly,
like one of those players. Like he was a starting Premier League player. He's kind of one of the players you expect to kind of push us on and like be the kind of one of the driving forces forward. But he just hasn't looked like that yet. And now maybe like this move is probably good for him. I think you're right. He is on kind of that level where he could maybe play for like a relegation fighting team in the Premier League or like a strong team in the Championship. Yeah, definitely. Like, but the way Aston Villa are going at the minute, they're kind of going up and up and up. So like, he's probably not good enough to make it into that team.
Bournemouth, I think 5th or 6th in the league at the moment. Like they'd be pushing for 2nd or at least a playoff place. So like, could turn out. Oh, sorry, Shane Long there. I was looking at, but like it could.
Spots, like.
Could between Harahan and Shane Long, who dropping down the league mightn't be the worst thing for them. Like,
I'm just seeing here, Lenny's after saying that Josh King is heading to Everton, so Shane Long to Bournemouth mightn't happen now, which would be a shame. I think because he just won't play for Southampton, so it's just a shame.
No, he won't. No, yeah. I mean, Adams and Ings are just way better. Like,
yeah, and even I feel like there's someone else. Walcott, I think, plays up there sometimes as well.
Walcott, Jersey Joe.
Yeah. Ty, you kind of touched on the younger lads a little bit briefly there. 2 young lads we saw moving to the same League One side was Mark Travers and Conor Masterson. Travers moving from Bournemouth to Swindon, and Masterson from QPR to Swindon as well. Socko, I suppose, as the keeper, we'll ask you about Mark Travers. From the brief minutes you've seen of him, what have you made of his abilities?
Oh, like class. Yeah, between him and Kelleher, like the future of Irish goalkeeping, I think is in good hands. But like the big thing is just regular game time. That said, we have seen with Randolph last year, like you maybe because Randolph's a bit older and he has that international experience. Like, on one hand, you'd say you don't need regular club time to play for Ireland, looking at Randolph, but on the other hand, like the likes of Kelleher, Travers, they need games under their belt. Like there's no use sitting
as well.
And Bazunu as well. Like it's no use. Like with Kelleher, especially, like all class, he's with Liverpool and all the rest. But like if he's just sitting on the bench, it doesn't do much for his development. I think just regular game time is the most important thing. So hopefully the move works out for him.
Definitely. Even with Randolph, like you could see, like he was one of our most reliable players for so long, and then you could see the mistakes starting to creep in at the end, like at the last 2 games and stuff. So yeah, especially when you're young and stuff, you just need to be getting games under your belt. Like, and if you're just sitting on the bench in the Championship, it's not going to help you at all. Like,
yeah, definitely. Masterson is another one as well, where he went from Liverpool to QPR, and we're kind of hoping that would be
kind of the resurgence or something.
Yeah, so it's a shame.
Another player that just didn't have game time for so long, like, and it's probably just affected him negatively. Like, and maybe he can kind of kickstart. He's only 22. He's our age, isn't he? Like, so he's you never know.
Yeah, and then Griff will ask you about Danny Grant moving from Bows to Huddersfield. As a Bows fan yourself, what did you think of that move? It's a good opportunity for him. Really,
no, I think it is a. I'm just thinking because he's absolutely quality for me in Football Manager as well. So that's what I'm saying. Basing them off that, no, he like it does seem like a good move as well. Huddersfield, they're a pretty big club, especially like in terms of like in Championship League One, like they be one of the bigger clubs. You know, they were only in the Premier League a few years ago. Like, I think it's a good move for him. It would be interesting to see if he gets game time, because even you've seen like, you know, a few players go from the League of Ireland, even like thinking about Sean Maguire and stuff. Initially, like taking that big leap, sometimes they do struggle to get playing time. Like, so it would be I think it's important that he, you know, gets a good few minutes under his belt these next few months, then but basically establishes himself really. And I think it's a good move though. Good move for both parties. It seemed like he was outgrown Bowes, you know, needed a new challenge. So I do think it was definitely the right move going over to England. So yeah, I hope he does well. It's good lad. Really good for me in Football Manager again. So
we did also see another player making the move from the Premier League to the Championship actually as well, Jason Malumbi, who I was a little bit disappointed didn't get his chance at Brighton this season. He had a great year with Millwall last year in midfield there in the Championship, so I thought he'd like the perfect stepping stone.
He would,
step was for him to get into Brighton's team, and it just hasn't really worked out from this year. So to move to Preston North End on loan, it's just a chance for him to get some first team football for the second half of the season, but it feels like it was half a season wasted really, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the quality in Brighton's team, they're not world beaters. I really thought he was going to get some minutes there. Like they're struggling as well. I thought they might have kind of changed it up. I think he made a couple of appearances off the bench even, but this is again, he only needs to play games, and he probably made the right move. In the end, it's just kind of disappointing that it took so long. Like,
yeah. I'll ask you about Dan Crowley, Griff, because I'm not 100% sure on him. I know he's with Arsenal. I'm not sure if you saw much from there, but he's after moving from Birmingham to Hull. I think he's recently come out and said that he is 100% committed to Ireland. I think he's 22, 23 now, so getting to that stage where you want to be making the squad. Have you seen much of him before?
Yeah, I've actually followed him for a few years, because when he was playing at Arsenal, obviously there was kind of like, there has been for a while, there's not like many Irish players who play for Arsenal, so I was following him. I'm pretty sure he went out. He could have gone to the same club Jack Byrne went to. I could be wrong, but they went to Holland for a while and then ended up getting sold. He was rated really highly. Like he was playing in the England like under 17 setup or something, I think. But he was switching between them and Ireland, and then completely. It was back in like 2017. Even he said like he wanted to play for Ireland. Probably just after he got sold by Arsenal. He was rated quite highly though. I do remember. So yeah, it'd be interesting for him. I think there may have been like one or two attitude problems at the time. That's what like people were saying, like Arsenal fans were saying when he got sold, like he's a pretty high potential player, but it seems like he's kind of knuckled down these last few years. And yeah, I think it's a good move for him. Like I would love to see him come play for Ireland. He says it because his dad's Irish, and it was either his dad or his mom's Irish, and he said that he remembers like watching the 2002 World Cup like over here in Ireland with his like family. And being devastated when he got knocked out. Like he does seem like proper Irish through and through. So yeah, I mean, if he makes the next step up, and to be honest, like with the options that we have in midfield at the moment, you know, if he does well in the championship, like why not give him a go? Like, you know, so yeah, going to be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Keen Hickey here asking what to think about Aaron McAnuff leaving. Sort of came out of nowhere. I was actually going to touch on that next. He has moved from Shamrock Rovers tonight to Hearts of Middletonian. Is that what you say? Is that how you say it?
I don't know. You have the jersey.
So yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere, as he said there. And that's a big loss for them midfield. That's him and Jack Byrne, two they're probably star players from their title-winning season, gone. It's a big blow.
Yeah, it was always going to kind of happen. Like a few players leaving Rovers after winning the league. So like they've made a good few signs. We'll have to kind of kick on then and try replace the likes of McAnuff and Byrne. But yeah, Hearts top of the Scottish First Division at the moment. Obviously hoping for promotion.
They're not even down in second tier.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. They were relegated last year, I think. I'm not sure.
That rings a bell. Actually,
did they go into administration or like?
Well, they spent 200 pounds. I don't think.
Hey, 200 pounds is decent.
But yeah, that's a bit mad, isn't it? First division, like he'll do well there though. Like you surely think that's well able to.
The likes of Partick Thistle and Wraith and.
He was in the latest Irish squad, like So you would have thought there might have been a better move potentially than the second tier of Scotland, like. But the Hearts seem like a big club, like they will get promoted back up. But,
yeah, it's only 5 months, and like the chances are they will get promoted back. Hopefully he gets into a bit of good form. What was it, 200 grand for Rovers as well? Like kind of not bad as well. So yeah, best of luck to him.
Just to touch on real quickly, just looking at the Scottish Championship like table now, like Hearts are like already 12 points clear. So I mean, you'd surely think like it's kind of a long-term investment. Like so you surely think it's a long-term investment. Yeah, but
they're not going to bring in players that are like not that top tier level. Like they're going to bring in players looking towards the next season. Like
want to kick on. Yeah.
I mean, it's always sad to see like some of the best players in the league leave for like the lower leagues in England and Scotland and stuff. It's just frustrating, but maybe a good move for us. They're going to end up getting promoted this season, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. The 200k as well, as you mentioned, like it's good. Is that a fair price? You feel like he probably could be worth like
Ireland international, like
maybe more, but yeah, with the current economic climate like that, you're not really sure what things are gonna.
Probably can't afford it.
Yeah, definitely.
Moving on to Troy Parrott, who was recalled from his loan spell by Spurs. He was with Millwall, wasn't it? Yeah, the first half of the season. Injuries kind of hampered it at the start, and he never really got a run of games, I don't think. So he's moved down to League One with Ipswich Town, where he would probably, you'd be looking for him to want to kind of not rip it up, but like start knocking a few goals in, wouldn't you? Really?
Yeah. I mean, judging the way people have talked about him and stuff like that, you'd really hope that like that's almost below his level. Like he'd hope he'd be kind of one of the better strikers in the league and stuff like that. But I mean, it is kind of worrying seeing him go down another league, and I know it's a lot of injuries and stuff. Like between him and Obafemi, I'm fearful. Like between the injuries and kind of not getting games and stuff like that.
Why are they injured as well? Like, it's not
yeah,
great.
and like he wasn't getting that much game time when he was fit. Like
Yeah.
No, I think it's definitely important. Like these next 4 or 5 months for him, like he just has to knuckle down, and really kick on. Because at the end of the day, if he comes back here, like, and he's like an unsuccessful loan spell at Ipswich, Tottenham are going to be like, what are we doing, like, with this fella? After being rated so highly, they definitely expect him big things. Like he's been in the first team, in and around the first team squad for a while. Training with even like Harry Kane and stuff. Like they're like he's a high potential player. They were expecting a lot of him. When he went to Millwall, fair enough, the injuries and stuff at the start of the season, but even when he was playing, like he didn't seem like he was really like breaking into great form. Didn't score a single goal. I think he got 1 assist the whole time. But like you do obviously we all really want him to see him do well. So I think it could be a good move. I hope it's a good move. So
yeah, strikers can be weird ones as well. Like I think McGoldrick was late 20s before he made his debut for Ireland. Like and he was not always like a championship level player, and has done well in the Premier League this season. You feel like sometimes strikers can be late bloomers, whereas like they kind of take a few years and go into their mid-20s maybe before they really start to kind of do their best work. I think Harry Kane had an unsuccessful loan spell with Millwall before, and look at him, like it's hard to like, you don't want to put too much pressure on an 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid at the same time as like saying he needs to do well on this loan as well, like, which you feel like he does, because I think Spurs be looking at bringing in players, like young players and stuff, and they'll probably have their own strikers as well, like 17, 18 coming through. So if they're rated higher than Troy Parrott, like he could be sold permanently potentially in the summer if Ipswich doesn't work out well. But yeah, best of luck to him. We really hope it works out.
For sure. I was just going to say, like, people are way too impatient these days and think if a 6-month loan spell doesn't go great, they tend to like totally write the player off, like when he's 20.
I saw a thing on Twitter earlier, and I was like, he's still 18, like give him a chance, whatever. And someone was like, he's 19 next month. It's like, oh, what? Like, he's still so young. Like,
oh my god,
no excuse.
The thing with Arsenal was like he's 27. No, he's 28. He's like he's not 27 until he's 28. Like, and then never mind. Anyway,
I was just gonna say, looking ahead to the qualifiers in March. What are we, 6-7 weeks away? Like that's 6 or 7 weeks for Parrott to get in, knock a few goals in, and try get selected for that squad. So I think it'll fly in. So yeah, definitely want to keep an eye on the next 6 weeks.
He's a fan as well, so like yeah, if he does well at Ipswich, he probably will get into the squad. You feel?
Fingers crossed.
Daniel Deneen said Parrott was misused in Millwall, playing on the wing and not getting much service as well. Which like, if he's playing on the wing, it's just not like.
I think they're playing left wing, weren't they? Like for ages.
I'd be lying to you if I said I watched a single Millwall game this season. But I'd take your word for it, Daniel, if he was in that thing. It's Millwall's fault. It's not Troy's. It's not our boy.
It's not Troy's fault.
So like a player that was rumoured to be going to Crystal Palace, Jason Knight. Burnley were also interested as well, because I think Derby were on the verge of administration there at some stage in January. I think they're okay now, but they're on the verge of like nearly have to sell a couple of their assets, and obviously Jason Knight is probably their most valuable asset nearly. Crystal Palace interested in him. Would you have liked to have seen him make that step up to the Premier League?
100%, yeah. I'd love to see him there. Maybe not yet. Maybe at the end in the summer, maybe. But you can see like how fond Rooney is of him and stuff. Like you make him captain for a game, like, and he's and like, I mean, the Palace are looking to try and bring in a few younger players and stuff like that now, because I think we have like a good few players out of contract in the season, including Roy Hodgson, and I'd say we're going to try to start bringing in a few younger talents and stuff like that. Like we signed the 22-year-old striker or something like that from Mainz in Germany. So like, yeah, that kind of player, kind of pushing the ball forward a bit more exciting and stuff. I mean, I'm a bit worried about Palace. A lot of players are quite old and stuff like that. So yeah, he'd be kind of a nice fresh introduction or something like that, you know.
feel like Rooney's really taken him under his wing, hasn't he? Though, like it's such a good mentor to have. Like how cool is that, Wayne Rooney? Like,
really, like just the way he goes on about him, though, the way he talks about him in the press and all, like he's so full of praise, which is like exactly what you want. Like a young lad who just like wants to play football and wants to play at like a high level. And like obviously I think Rooney kind of recognized that as a player, like who he burst on the scene when he was like 16, 17, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
burst on the scene like Mick Richards.
Yeah, burst on the scene. Burst on the scene, did you, Mick? No, I think it's real good though. So yeah, I mean, I think what Tyke said as well. Maybe not now because because he's doing so well at Derby, especially with Rooney. Maybe not now. Maybe at the end of the season, give him another few months.
I don't know, if he went now, he wouldn't play. Like he just wouldn't play. Like Roy Hodgson just wouldn't play him. Like so. Yeah. If we would change a manager and stuff like that, and maybe look to bring him in then.
Yeah, you're talking about Palace bringing in younger players. Tyke, another player that they've been interested in is Irish underage striker. I think he's 17. Sinclair Armstrong. He's been linked with. He moved from Shamrock Rovers to QPR recently, I think, and he's been linked with Man City, Crystal Palace, and Celtic. So yeah, it sounds like a very exciting prospect as well. Another striker coming through the ranks.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, if he's linked with City, I mean, I like the sign.
Oh, yeah.
never seen the guy play.
Like yeah, City, like it's promising from an Irish point of view. Like if Man City and Palace and
there's another lad. I think Teo Ardemola or something like that. He's signed a professional contract with Palace and stuff. He's been playing with the 23s. Yeah, he's left full. He scored a cracking goal there the other day. I saw like on the Instagram and stuff like that. So another exciting one.
Yeah, Griff. Nathan Collins in January was rumoured to be going to Arsenal. I think Burnley had a 7.5 million bid rejected for him as well. You probably haven't watched much of Stoke this season, but just from that, like if Arsenal are taking interest in him, yeah.
Honestly, hate Stoke. Like, poor Aaron.
Looks like a good talent.
Yeah, he does. Now he's rated really highly, and again in Football Manager, he's absolutely quality. So that's what I'm going to base it off. So listen, I do think it would be absolutely great to have a centre back who's Irish playing for Arsenal. But yeah, he's rated really highly. I think he's played quite a lot for the under-21s. Another player, playing under Stephen Kenny. So hopefully in a few years, I'm not sure if he was actually called up to the senior squad before.
I don't think he was. No.
Yeah, so. But that could be an interesting one, especially with Shane Duffy now just being horrifically out of form for Celtic. I love him. Like,
on the weekend, that goal they conceded last weekend, I just saw on Instagram. Really bad. Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure a tough time. Like, and like the fans are like beginning to pile on him now. Like,
so that's a good point to make. Like, bearing in mind the personal stuff he's had. Like some of the stuff, I know social media isn't the best like barometer, but some of the shit I was reading was really dire. Like I can't imagine like that's not you're a fan of a club, you're a supporter, so you support your players. Like fair enough if they make the odd mistake, but Jesus Christ, like some of the stuff I read was way out of order.
Yeah,
shocking.
Just feel sorry for him, Finn, because everything that happened, with his dad and stuff, and his dad being a massive fan, and then him going to Celtic and him just like he's not doing a job, So I mean,
really wanted it to work out.
And maybe there's still time to work it out. He's had like almost a full season there now, so who knows? But yeah, I mean, best luck to him. But yeah, I was just went off bit topic there, but I do think Nathan Collins, like he seems to be rated really highly. If he's linked with Arsenal. Usually, like we got Rob Holding from Bolton a few years ago for only like a few mil. So compared to that, like if we get Nathan Collins, I think it'd be a good sign. And yeah, like to see it.
Stoke are turning down 7.5 million as well. Just shows you, doesn't it? Really, as well.
Exactly, and I don't think they're in the best financial state at the moment as well. Like
especially in the current climate as well. Like
in these unprecedented times, Rob. Unprecedented times.
The last young player we'll look at, a bit of a mad rumour. Ben Greenhalgh buzz off it. Kevin Zeffy rumoured from Shamrock Rovers to Inter Milan. I think he was, what was he, the youngest ever League of Ireland player?
Yeah, youngest League of Ireland scorer, I'm pretty sure, wasn't he? But it was because he played for the second team, which is Rovers' second team in the first division. And he was like 15 in like 100 days or something.
It's ridiculous.
So, that is crazy. Like, I think his parents they're Albanian or I think somewhere like that. So I think he's played for Ireland before. But yeah, hopefully, I mean, you don't want to see like him turning to be absolutely class in a few years and then just being like giving the finger to Ireland. So I mean, yeah, hopefully once it's on. Yeah, mad move though. Like Shamrock Rovers to Inter Milan is just like
just shows you like
Ben Greenhouse.
Yeah, it is. It has that kind of a buzz off it, doesn't it?
Not many people would know who Ben Greenhouse is. Like football's makes the hair. Like
yeah, I think I suppose it was probably a while back now actually.
Yeah, ghastly.
Soccer.
Yeah, I'm just looking at something that your man Kevin Jeffy said here. He said one day he wants to maybe captain Ireland. So I think.
All right, we'll hold him to that. Like.
So I think he will.
That's legally binding, Kevin.
Yeah, if you're saying things like that now, you can't be going back on it. Like
Declan Rice also said up the Ra. But
yeah, I was just going to say that.
He played for Ireland. Like he played for the Irish senior team. Like
three times.
3 appearances. How is that?
It's shocking, man.
How sick is it? Like Declan Rice, what 100 million?
Shut up, man.
No, you don't, man. You don't want to hear it. Like.
The parents.
Like.
You got to screen record Tig saying that now and like make a TikTok when he declares for England or something. Or no, Albania.
I always said to declare for Ireland though. I'd say he wouldn't be talked about half as much and like he'd be worth what 20 million or something like. So yeah, just the way it goes, isn't it?
Souček's a better player in that team.
Souček is deadly, yeah. Soccer, you sent in a picture into the group before with Wes Houlihan. He's doing really well with Cambridge this season.
Yeah, I suppose the last young player will come on to Wes Houlihan. He's absolutely lighting it up in League Two. Signed there last season, 4 goals and 5 assists in I think 617 games. They're top of League Two, and to be honest, I've only been kept informed by Max Rushton on the Guardian podcast. He's a huge Cambridge fan, and they spend most of the time talking about the Premier League, and he dedicates like 5 minutes at the end to Cambridge. It's so funny, like. But yeah, he was saying Wes Houlihan, like brilliant. He scored a few late goals as well. Did a savage win against Crawley at the weekend too. So I suppose the next thing we're going to talk about is will Stephen Kenny call him back? 38.
You can't say he wouldn't be near the starting 11. Like,
imagine Glenn Whelan's still doing the job. Glenn Whelan's still doing the job down there.
Wes is what 35, isn't he? 35,
37. Wes.
Do you ever hear like James Madison talking about him? No, like he says he's like the best player he's ever played with and stuff. Like he's so good at football. Like
he was so good, man. He was criminally underused by Ireland. Like
one man that should have got like 40 more caps. Like
man, but I just do think there would be absolute uproar if he got into the squad now at 37, and there was like League of Ireland players getting overlooked, like, and you know, even players in League One and Championship are getting overlooked. Like I do love Wes. But like, not happening. It is not happening.
Do you think Wes will come back to League of Ireland to finish his career out?
Yeah,
definitely.
Because I think if Shales maybe get promoted or something, he might, because that's where he obviously came from. He might go back there or something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say which club. Definitely same with Shales. Like
Shales, that's where he made his name. So
totally.
Sorry, go. I think they played against I think it was like an Ayrshire 11 or something. Played against Man United or something.
The first game in the Aviva.
Tore Gary Neville to shreds. It was I think it was a while before that one. The one that you're thinking of, I think.
Oh right, yeah.
It was 6-1 or 7-1.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's probably something like
that. That was the one in the Aviva. It was 7-1. Anyway, so I don't know.
I think McLean was playing in that one, but
met Wes in a pub.
It's gone off. There you go. Yeah.
A few years ago before a Dublin match.
You must be standing on the still there.
You weren't stilts, like.
Top guy.
But yeah, we'll move on to former Irish manager Mick McCarthy. He's back in management very quickly after being sacked by Apoel Nicosia, where he did buy Jack Byrne. He brought Jack Byrne over to Cyprus and then ditched him a couple of days later. He's been hired by Cardiff City. It's just been an uninspiring appointment from them, isn't it? Really.
Standard,
Do you think if Mick McCarthy was the Cardiff City manager at the start of January, would he have brought Jack Byrne there, do you think?
Yeah, potentially. Like I think Jack Byrne going to Cyprus worked for both Mick and it worked for Jack for a lot of reasons. I don't think Jack kind of maybe wasn't fully ready to go over to England. Working under Mick, like, there's definitely a massive pull for him. Like, so it is a shame that when he went over, like, I mean, I think the guy wasn't even in the squad before Mick got sacked. Like, it's just, I think managers over there are just like sometimes just like Russian roulette. Like, they just.
Ross, what was the stat you got? It was like how many managers in the last 5 years?
Oh, it was like 15 in the last 4 years or something like that. Yeah. Man, it's like
crazy, but I do feel sorry for him. But yeah, definitely. I mean, if he had gone to if he was in Cardiff a few months ago, then definitely that same pull would have been there. So it definitely would have been an option. It will be interesting now to see how Jack gets on. I'm pretty sure he only started his first game for them like 2 days ago, and he got taken off in like at halftime. Like, so yeah. I mean, it hasn't gone as planned so far. I do think he's not still 100% recovered from when he had COVID. To be fair to him, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I do really hope he does well, but I do think like after turning up like after a week and you're there, and half the reason you're there has just been fired. Like, you're looking around being like, what do I have to do here? Like, you've got a new manager coming in, he hasn't a clue who you are. Like, you're just the older fella that the manager's after signing. Like, so I do think it's going to be a tough situation for Jack. Hopefully he does well, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see him back here in 6 months, to be honest.
That's what I was about to say. How long did you see him lasting over there?
Did he sign a year contract or 2 years?
It's longer than that. I think it's maybe 2.5. So it's like the end of this season and 2 years after, potentially. But I think Cyprus, the Cypriot League, is known for like not paying their players.
Shady figures.
Like, yeah, there's a couple of shady figures at the head of football clubs and stuff. So
it's much like the FAI. So
absolutely. It's going to look through a few of the comments people have been saying. Away in Drogheda is great for an atmosphere. I think it's the Hunky Dory Park. Is that what it's called still?
Hunky Dory Arena.
Great name. Absolutely fantastic name. Daniel Thompson, Waterford fan, says, I was looking for Cork when I saw the fixtures. Delighted when I remembered they weren't there. Daniel,
I think it's called United Park, Ross.
United Park, it used to be Hunky Dory.
It used to be Hunky Dory, I think.
Yeah, it used to be, yeah.
That's just what it says in the pictures. I don't know if it is.
Once the league has proper facilities at Dalymount, Richmond Park, Finn Park, the league should expand. Yeah, you'd probably...
Pipe train.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of like a double-edged sword though, because like for the league to improve, you need money, and like we're not getting money at the moment. So like without fans and without funding from the FAI, like stadiums won't improve. So maybe one of the first steps we need to do is expand the league so you get more interest in it. Because if it's instead of like, I do feel for like a lot of neutral fans, well, not neutral fans, but kind of casual fans, it is a lot. Like if you play the same team 4 times in a year, like it can get a bit repetitive, So if you expand the league, making it more accessible to people who are a bit more neutral, in the long term, kind of makes it more profitable, I suppose. That's just me.
Hopefully, I think I was reading during the week. Hopefully, a big opportunity will come up when the league restart, like fans are let back in, say like fingers crossed, all things going well, the start of the 2022 season. There'll be a lot of neutral fans that would have like kind of watched a bit of the League of Ireland over lockdown and thought that, say a guy that's never been to Dalymount before or Tallaght Stadium, say, you know what, like I'm dying for a bit of sport now. Like I might go down to a match on a Friday night. Yeah. I think there's a big opportunity for the LOI and a lot of clubs to attract a lot of fans, new fans that weren't there before, and kind of
people can't go over to England and stuff as well. Like people can't travel abroad and stuff for matches and stuff as well.
That's a big thing too. But just attract new fans that maybe didn't realize what they had until they saw it was on their doorstep. Like people all across the country that like including myself, like kind of supporting Premier League clubs, but saying to themselves, you know what, actually I might go down to a match on Monday night, on Friday night. I think there's a big opportunity next year.
Definitely. Actually, lads, a quick one for you, just thinking of it now. How long is it till the season starts? About a month and a half, is it?
Yeah, it's like 19th of March is when the first game. President's Cup.
7 weeks.
The league is in a mess. 9 out of the 10 teams still haven't appointed a climate justice officer.
Don't be like, everyone will copy it, man. Bows are always the first to do something, then everyone gets on board. Like so,
people start doing that. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, to be fair, Bows like very progressive. So I mean, like it is. I think it's good, to be honest. Like I know it's getting a lot of stick, but I do think it's good. Like
I didn't make that up, by the way. I won't take credit for that.
I do think it's a good thing. Now I'm going to defend it. So I wouldn't be surprised. Like usually what Bows do, they do something, then everyone flags off and then copies them. So that's usually what happens.
They're hoping for new sign, and I suppose they didn't expect to be a new climate justice officer sign.
New announcement.
We've got with the shirt.
Genuinely though, like I mean, I know I'm defending it, but I haven't like what's he do? Like I actually haven't a clue. Like just like climate.
Like I don't know. Like I don't know.
Give it a rest with all that.
It's a volunteer anyway, so like
glorified.
We've got a question here specifically for Sean O'Connor. It's from Marty, who says, thoughts on Lampard taking over Bantry under 9s?
No comment.
R.I.P. Frank.
He needs time.
R.I.P. Frank. Give him time. Give him time. It's a young squad. It's they're all not in 4th, 5th class.
One of them had COVID. He needs 6 months to settle in.
Yeah. Little Johnny. Little German Johnny up top just hasn't scored in 15 games. Like just give him time. There's big discussions with the Bantry board at the moment, so just see how it goes. But give him time; he'll be fine.
Lenny asks thoughts on Bowes close to signing Liam Burt. He used to play for Celtic and Rangers. He's that's a danger cell previous clubs.
Yeah, he used to play for Celtic and Rangers. I mean, signing for Bowes, I mean, he can do a Danny Manger and go to Rovers now, you know.
He doesn't get
Guy clearly doesn't give a shit. I'm pretty sure he was sacked by Scotland under 21s at one stage. I'm not like I remember reading about him. I have to look up. I've seen it on Twitter. So listen, if he's potentially a good signing. So don't know enough to go.
Developed Plum asks, how long until Sean reveals he's actually a Bowes fan? Regards, Adam.
That's our big end of season special.
You all know he's a Sporting Fingal fan. True and true. He won't support a team until they come back.
Bowes, like, my God.
Lenny asks, lads, thoughts. I think he's an Everton fan himself, so he's asking. Yeah, he just said that. Yeah, thoughts on Seamus Coleman's recent performances for Everton. As an Everton fan myself, he's been quite poor, and we can probably touch on Matt Doherty as well, who's been pretty dire this season.
Hasn't been going well for Ireland in general, has it? Like, no, I haven't had any positive news to talk about. Like,
Doherty was replaced. Who started ahead of him against Brighton? Who's dropped?
Aurier, maybe.
Oh, didn't Aurier go home at half time? No, but he got substituted.
It was the week before, I think.
Yeah, my God, man, that team is in the mud. Like, honestly,
yeah. Coleman's one of those players, though. He's a leader. Like, you still want him in the squad, even if he's not playing well for Everton. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a captain. Like, I know his performance might dip, but like, he's one of those he'll drive other people on and expect the best from people and stuff like that. So, definitely someone I'd want to have in there.
Definitely in your dressing room, he's vital. Like, I remember actually. What was
Ancelotti compared him to was it Maldini or something like that?
Maldini or something, yeah. But do you remember the game in Cardiff that we went to, Ireland Wales, when McLean scored that goal? I'm not sure if you're aware, but
I can't remember that.
I think Gareth Bale and Seamus Coleman were kind of like the central figures of both nations, and I think about captains as well. Gareth Bale was like sat up in the stands with a suit on, like just watching the game, where Seamus Coleman was in his tracksuit in the dressing room with the lads. Like, it just kind of shows you his character, I think, doesn't it?
Never forget that.
Touch on that. Gareth Bale does not give a shit about football anymore. Like, I was watching it last night. And honestly, like, he is done. Like, he's done, man. I do feel sorry for him. Like, actually, no, I don't feel sorry for his Tottenham. Like, but yeah, it is kind of. I do feel sorry for Seamus Coleman. Obviously, not playing at his best. He's getting a bit older now. Like, that's the thing. You know, his performances aren't quite what they used to a few years ago. But hopefully, get back to form again. He's a leader. Like, he's one of the biggest team, like probably the biggest leader in that Everton team. He's captain, like so.
Did you see actually? He like messaged Yannick Bolasie. Did you see that on Twitter?
Yeah, it was really nice. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
No, we got to see Coleman's WhatsApp pic as well. I think it was him and his wife. Pretty funny, like.
But yeah, did you not see that tag now?
No, I saw Bolasie moved to Middlesbrough, isn't it?
Middlesbrough, yeah.
Neil Warnock's manager. I think Warnock would have had him at Palace, like so.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Bolasie. I think he's a legend. Like, yeah, it's a really good one. I mean, I was so disappointed when I do think that everything didn't work out, like the injuries, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because Coleman was like texting him being like, because I don't think he was training with Everton at the time or something, and he's like, "Oh, you're a great teammate and all this kind of stuff, and I wish you all the best." I can't remember exactly what he said, but proper nice, and Bolasie like shared it on Twitter and stuff. So yeah, Coleman just seems like such a good lad. Like,
I don't think Coleman started under Kenny. He didn't play last year, did he?
No.
Yeah, what was that?
He made it to the press conference and he wasn't even there.
I don't think that. Yeah, I was about to mention that. I don't think he was made. Like, I don't know. Was that like? I think someone made a big deal out of that, but I don't think it was like that big a deal or something. I think because Coleman knew he wasn't playing and still volunteered to do it or something.
It's a weird one because he doesn't play him, and then like you see, like even the FAI Instagram put the stuff saying like our captain and stuff like that, and pictures of him. Like he doesn't even start for us anymore.
It's
like,
weird. Yeah.
So, much to show like the way he is around the change room and stuff like that. Like he
starts at Doherty. Anyway, no question.
Yeah, at the moment, actually, he's been dog poor. Like, he started on the left actually the other night.
And he got ripped to shreds. Like, he made good.
Like. I mean, I remember at the time we said it like such a strange move from like the Wolves thing suited him so much. Like, I guess he just kind of thought the move like playing in Europe and stuff like that was just kind of the aim. And
I'd say, and I think he got a 4-year deal there, so it was nice money. I'd say, just in terms of like his family situation, like for his support his family a lot better. Through that, I don't think Wolves would have matched those wages. And then it's the chance to work under Mourinho as a defender as well. Must be kind of like a real good opportunity as well. You feel?
Yeah, definitely.
Patrick Bamford to play with Ireland. I think we've touched on that previously.
A few times we mentioned, yeah. I mean, at this stage, I have 100% take him. Like, definitely. I didn't really rate him before the season, but in fairness, he's what? How many goals in the Premier League this season?
Like 10
11 or something like that. Like, and
that goal
even
he
got like last night. Like he's not selfish. Like he could have easily tried to go himself and maybe mess up the chance. He sweated out to the Harrison or something like that. But yeah, I'd definitely take him. I mean, he's better than anything we have available. Like at the minute, like by a country mile.
Like. The goal he scored was elite as well.
Yeah, unbelievable finish. Like against a great keeper, like as well.
Beating Kasper Schmeichel, yeah.
If he can score against Kasper Schmeichel, put him in the Ireland squad because we're going to be playing them in the 10 times in the next 2 years.
We'll probably finish up on this question actually. Who do you all think will win the League of Ireland this season and why?
It's a tough one, man. I would have probably gone Rovers again, but the McAnuff one is a weird one. Like, cause like Tim and Byrne gone, and Byrne and him gone. Like it's really about if kind of Andrew steps up and is as good as we know he kind of can be. But I still think they have enough to win the league because they're so strong defensively as well. Like
they brought in the 2 Dundalk lads there in the back as well.
Yeah,
which so are like Sean Gannon and Sean Horde go under the radar a bit.
Sean Gannon's one of the most decorated players in like League of Ireland history. I'm pretty sure, isn't he? Like he's a ridiculous amount of the titles and stuff like that. So yeah, I think Rovers are probably still the strongest side and financially and stuff like that. So I think Rovers will win it.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yes, and I think it's between Rovers and Dundalk. I do think that obviously Rovers losing McAnuff and Byrne, it will be tighter this season. Dundalk, to be fair, I don't think they were doing particularly great business at the start of the window. So I don't know. It could be tight. Like Bowes signing Bastian Herrick, we could be up there.
I'll be surprised if it's between Bowes and Rovers again.
John, I think Bowes will the thing about Bowes is Danny Grant gone, Chris Twarwick gone, Andre Wright gone.
Wright's gone as well, yeah. So have they made many moves?
Danny Corcoran gone as well.
Danny gone,
I don't know. I do think though. I do think Mandrew going and Harry coming in is that's a brilliant replacement. Like in terms of quality. I don't know. Like the squad's a year older now, like which is a big deal.
As well, signing on as good as
well. Exactly. Like so, I do think there's potentially the chance for them to kick on. It's going to be tight, I'd say. I don't. They're looking at it like there's no team that I can say is out now going to win it. Really, like, but I'd say it could be between those three. Yeah, I'd say that.
Other teams you can easily see getting up there, like Sligo and stuff like that. Like, I mean, like
you don't know, surprise shout up there, maybe hats or something like.
I mean, we see a lot of the Dublin teams obviously live in Dublin. Like we go to those games the most and stuff like that. So you don't kind of see like the work that they're putting in and stuff. But like Sligo have been on the climb the last couple of years, really, and stuff. So
definitely.
I
was going to ask you, Socko, before you do your prediction. Bit of an LOI TV exclusive. Keith Long isn't too happy with his striker situation at Bows, isn't he? Not he would have probably kept in for another year or two, quote unquote.
Keith Long comes into work like a fair bit, and I was chatting to him last week, and
Socko's buddy.
It was like, how's the window going? I think they were just back to preseason training that night, and he said, "Oh, it's not going too bad."
By the way, this isn't actually made up.
Yeah,
he works in Century.
And I feel like if I say this, like I'll fuck up any future. Like,
get sacked.
Yeah.
Let go by Century.
But
actually, next time you see you,
just fire Mike in his face. But he was saying like it could do with a striker, Ginny going as well. And I was saying, fuck it, like I might bring up my football boots next week, and he said I might too as well.
Not that desperate.
He said they're not that desperate, but they said they could. I think it was the day they signed Andy Lyons as well. They said they are on the lookout for another striker or two. So but in terms of prediction, I have a funny feeling about Dundalk this year. Like, even though after losing Gary Rogers, I think Brian Gartland signed on for another season as well. Same as a few other players, but like they did really well under Giovanni last year. A few games in the Europa League, even though like they didn't win I don't think they won a point. Like some of the football they were playing were super. They should have beat Rapid Vienna. They should at least got a point against Mold. They gave a really good account of themselves against Arsenal. And then they scraped. They did really well. They actually.
It was okay.
It was all right.
I thought like last game of the season. What was it? 4-2.
40, that was
in the Aviva, like you take that against Arsenal. They scraped third place. But I think under Giovanni, like he's surprised so many people and got them playing really well. And they were in such bad form until he arrived. And then ended up getting third place. That savage win in the cup final as well. So I have a funny feeling about Dundalk this year, but it's between the traditional like top three, I'd say.
Yeah, fair. I'd probably be inclined to go with Dundalk just because they've kept. I was highly anticipated that Michael Duffy would leave the club. He signed up for another year, so it's kind of like they've kept hold of him, and Shamrock have lost Jack Byrne, and they're like usually they're kind of both in the show for Player of the Year. So it's kind of such a huge thing for them to keep hold of him. They have the likes of Pat Hoban still up top. I know
Chris Shields. I forgot to mention like
Chris Shields, of course, as well.
I forgot to mention.
The big one will be Rogers, and I think they've put in a goalkeeper, Alessio Abibi. So, like, who knows what he's going to be like? If he's useless, like, you just like that could be huge. It could genuinely come down to, for me. I think everyone probably agrees it probably will come down to Rovers and Dundalk. I think Bows will probably be third again, more than likely. You never know, obviously, but I think it could come down to who gets Richie Tell halfway through the season. That could define it for me. Because he could come in and light the league up. Just because I think both sides are interested. I believe he does want to go back to Dundalk, obviously, where he started.
Definitely, to change the league completely. Like,
yeah, I think he scored 25 league goals when he was here last, or something like that, from midfield. Like, I think he's 29 now, so he's still kind of in and around.
It's not like he hasn't been playing. Like, he just get a game like occasionally for. He's still with
Salford, yeah.
Like he still does get the occasional game. I mean, they're looking to kind of try to get promoted and stuff, and maybe he's not at like the level of League One or whatever. So I think he definitely could be like a huge sign for someone.
Definitely. So it's going to be between the two of them. I think Des Gallagher's at the saying here. Dundalk will have 9 out of their starting 11 from the cup final. There's probably the 2 that went to Shamrock Rovers that aren't there. But
and Gary Rogers.
Yeah, I remember like
Yeah,
there was a lot of uncertainty, like with like a lot of players around the contract and stuff. So it was kind of wasn't sure how they're going to do. But obviously, they enjoyed playing under. But Filippo, I won't even try to say his second name. I just don't know how to say it. Like, I don't know how to say his second name. Like, but
he's brought in those mad players, like players that have like 30 caps for like Faroe Islands, and I think it's Latvia as well, and stuff like that.
The guy who scored against them in Europa League qualifying for KI, like.
Yeah, he looks like a good player. I think he's real tall.
Oh, yeah.
Then they brought in a centre back who's 6'6", so it looks like he's going for really strong physical players. Like, the left back as well. The left back that they got from Latvia it's a bit of a, not a shame, but it's like, is Dara Leahy going to get his chance there? Like, to be a starting left back, it's hard to know, isn't it? Because he's on Irish under 21 international as well, so he could potentially end the Stevens is like understudy nearly.
It could work either way. Like when a new player kind of comes in and is fighting for your position, like it can go two ways. You can kind of get upset about it, or you can put the work in and like show what you got on the pitch, and keep your nose like ahead of him. So hopefully it goes the other way.
Yeah, because there was times last season where I think he was playing Cameron Dummigan left back ahead of. I think at the Emirates that time for Dundalk, I don't think
they didn't start.
Yeah, and the cup final, I don't think he started either. So be interesting to see what Giovinazzi does next season. But I think that'll more or less do us, lads. We're right on the hour mark. So I do appreciate you all joining along for the first episode of Cautiously Optimistic. It'll be every Monday as well, 8 p.m. moving forward. And as that's Adam says here, Monday night sorted. Happy day.
That's a great photo.
It's a great photo, yeah.
Jesus, 12 in that, like. Shocking. That's Adam.
But anyway, yeah. If you did enjoy the video, please do drop a like on it down below. We do really appreciate all your support on this, guys. Moving forward, we will be doing this, so if you can kind of share it around with your friends and stuff, do appreciate that. And do subscribe with notifications on to never miss out on a stream. And yeah, we do really appreciate you tuning in. Danny says, great stream, lads. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching.